Hi everybody. Today in this goal we're going to be working on goal number 7, which is dealing with the vertical motion model. There's different varieties of the model depending on if you're doing meters per second or feet per second. For the problems we're going to be dealing with, we're going to be talking about when there's feet per second. So the equation that we use is just a straight formula given to you that you have S equals negative 16t squared plus v sub naught t plus s sub naught. The S stands for the ending height in the problem. The T stands for the time, and always done in seconds in your problem. And the V sub naught stands for your initial velocity in the problem. And then finally, the S sub naught stands for the initial height in your problem. In this problem, when we look at the first one, we're talking about a rock is being dropped off of a bridge that is 30 feet above a river. How long will it take for the rock to hit the water? Let's look at the important information in here. A rock is dropped. Okay, it's being dropped. It's not being thrown. So this is talking about our velocity. It is 30 feet above the river. So this tells us what our starting height is. And then the question finally asks, how long until it hits the water? This will be when it hits 0, which is at the very bottom. Okay. So if we take the information that's known and put it into our formula, we have negative S, or S equals negative 16t squared plus v sub naught t plus s sub naught. If it's dropped, that's my initial velocity in this problem. And if it's dropped, it's just 0. If it's starting at 30 feet, this is our starting height in the problem. And if it hits the water, that's our ending height, which is at 0. So substituting all these values in, we have 0 equals negative 16t squared plus 0 times t plus 30 feet. Go through and simplify this. 0 times t we don't have to worry about. We could just actually get rid of that. So we're left with 0 equals negative 16t squared plus 30. The easiest method that we have to go ahead and solve for this is to use a square root method, which means that we are going to isolate our t squared within the problem. In order to do this, we're going to subtract 30 from both sides, and we're going to divide by negative 16 on both sides. So in doing that, let's move over here. If I subtract 30, we have negative 30 equals negative 16t squared. Divide by negative 16, we end up with 30 over 16 equals t squared. And then what we're going to have to do is take the square root of this to get our answer. Now, to do this, there's a really nice way of doing this. Let me zoom into the calculator here. We're going to go 30 divided by 16, and we're going to take the square root of that. So we're going to go square root of 30 divided by 16. Just throw it in the calculator, and we end up with 1.37 if I round to 2 decimal places. So that would mean that my t in this problem is actually supposed to be plus or minus 1.37, but because we are talking about time, we can't have negative time. So we just say the answer would be 1.37 seconds is how long it would take to land in the water. Okay, let's look at example number 2. In this example, a hawk is flying at a height of 50 feet, and it spots a rat on the ground. If he dives down to catch the rat at 45 feet per second, how long will it take to catch the rat? So a hawk is flying at a height of 50 feet. This represents our starting height. He spots a rat on the ground. Ground denotes that it's going to be at 0. If he dives down to catch the rat at 45 feet per second, this is our velocity, how long will it take to catch the rat? So we're solving for time. So we have S equals negative 16t squared plus v sub naught t plus s sub naught. Again, starting height is 50. Ground is our ending height. 45 is our initial velocity. So what that's going to look like if we put it all together is 0 equals negative 16t squared plus 45t plus 50. Okay? So how are we supposed to solve this? Well, I'll tell you right now, I would not try to factor this. I would actually take the information and use the quadratic formula to try to solve this. So if we're going to set this up, we remember the quadratic formula is x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2 times a. Minus 4ac all over 2 times a. Now I'm going to show all of you a trick, and I'm only going to show this once, so hopefully if you've seen this, you'll spread the word to your friends and it'll help you, help them out too. In this problem, this is how we use our calculator for the little trick. We are going to program our calculator to retain numbers so we can actually use them at a later time. So if we're going to take negative 16 and we want to put that in as A, and 45 as B, and 50 as C, watch what we're going to do. Type negative 16 into the calculator. And now right here where it says stow on the calculator, we're going to push the store button. And we're going to store that as our A value. Next, we're going to go ahead and this is what it should look like. Negative 16 is stored as A. Next, we're going to store 45 as our B. So we're going to hit 45 stow alpha B. And then finally, we're going to go 50 for our C. 50 stow alpha C. So what it's done is it actually takes our A, B, and C and stores it in the calculator as these values. So now all I have to do is type the quadratic formula. So to do that, we're going to go negative B plus the square root of B squared minus 4AC all over 2A. Oops. 2A. All right. So that puts the quadratic formula into our calculator. Hit enter, and you'll see we get our first answer, negative 0.8526. Problem with this is we're talking about time. I can't have negative time, so this is not a valid answer. So let's try it again, but this time let's change our quadratic formula to be a minus right here. So to redo this, just go up to it and hit enter on it, and it'll retype it, and then all you have to do is arrow over to the part that you want to change. In this case, we just need to change the plus to a minus, and it'll give us our second answer, which is 3.665. So that is our correct answer for this, and 2 decimal places would be 3.67 seconds. I hope this helps. Please let me know if you have any further questions or if you need to do other examples. Hopefully, if there's nothing else, you understand this, you're going to do well. Thanks, and have a good day. Rosenwald, out.